Hi, Jonah. Thank you so much for meeting with us today. We understand this is the first time you've wanted to talk about this in over a decade, so we're really honored.
Yeah, of course. I think it's time.
Maybe just introduce yourself and then take it away. We want to hear it all from you.
Hi, yeah, I'm Jonah Weisman. I am an astronomer. I'm the astronomer that discovered the God-Man, as he's commonly known. It's not the name I gave him, but it's the one that stuck. At the time, I was conducting research at the Lake Observatory as an observational astrogeologist. I was there from 1961 to 1985. It was October 4th, 1963, and I spotted this totally strange shape, like a thick semicircle. It was fairly far off, but it was definitely very big. It was moving very slowly, only about 500 kilometers an hour, and after a month of observations, we knew that there was a really good chance that it was on course to here, to Earth. As it moved in closer, the rotation of the object began to reveal to us that it was much taller than it was wide. We estimated it was about 20 kilometers tall. And the angle that we had discovered it on was more like a top view, if you will. And as it rotated, it was hard to ignore that it really did, in fact, look like a humanoid. A head, a torso, arms, legs, hands, feet. Well, one foot, the other one broke off, we suspect. There was a lot of debate about what to do. If something this big were to collide with Earth, it would be, be problematic, to say the least. There was talk of nuking it. However, here we had our first potential evidence of extraterrestrial life. We needed more information. You know, was this a living being? Was it a corpse? Was it a vessel? Or just a very fancy rock? If this was living, it wasn't moving around, just statically drifting. But it could have been sleeping or in stasis. We just didn't know. And many folks certainly didn't want to enrage something so big if it was just asleep. Fortunately, time was on our side, so we sent a probe. When the probe sent the photos back, we were in awe. This was no fancy rock. The scans and photos determined that the material that it was made of was very thin and definitely organic. The likelihood of it being alive currently seemed extraordinarily slim, and we could tell that there was no chance it would make it through our atmosphere without burning up. We decided to leave it be and monitor it. Over 6 years, as it inched ever closer, eventually, with the naked eye, you were able to see this long shape in the sky, like a stick that appeared to be about half the size of the moon. But with the telescope, you're really able to make out the length of the limbs, the head, and even the small details in the face. And though it had the shape of a man, its face was more like a cross between an insect and a fish. And then every few months, as it rotated, it would go nearly invisible, only to reveal itself once again. Soon after the media coined his name, I began to greet him in the evenings, sarcastically at first, "Oh, good evening, God-man," but over time, with more sincerity. Every night, I was excited to see how much bigger he'd become in my lens. As he began to approach, we assembled a crew to send up in a shuttle to take samples. We needed to get up there before he entered our atmosphere and navigate a moving object. Even with modern technology, that's quite a task. Over the next few months, he moved past the moon and now appeared to be a little taller than it. One evening, the God-Man was actually silhouetted by the full moon. This spectacle only lasted for a few moments, but it was so eerie and extraordinary. It's truly hard to describe the impact that it had on me. After so many years of observing the God-Man, I began to rely on him, depend on him. I was counting the days when he would finally arrive and bring with him the wondrous answers of the universe. We speculated so much about him, about what it would mean when we finally got close enough to take samples, when he was close enough to really see him in clarity. The shuttle expedition made it up, but their trajectory was miscalculated, mistimed. We overshot him by 200 kilometers. We had a backup shuttle, but it failed to even launch. We blew our one shot to gather samples. However, when the shuttle passed near him, they managed to shoot a video. Now, when we had sent the probe, it only photographed the front. But when the shuttle got up there, they found that what we had initially thought was just a long divot turned out to be a split all the way down his back. And you could see that it was completely hollow. All the God-man ever was a shedded skin or a shell. And I think that's really the part that didn't sit well with most people. We wanted answers, and it just didn't bring any. It only made the unsettling conclusion that there is in fact alien life of some kind, and whatever left this behind is very, very big. And now it's even bigger. We can only speculate that he most likely left it behind because he outgrew it. And then finally, it entered our atmosphere. Anyone who saw it that day agrees that as it burned, we saw a color that we had never seen before. The cameras couldn't capture it, but I'll never forget it. This thing, 20 kilometers long, burned up in entirely 6 minutes. I found myself almost greeting him in the evenings for a long time after that. Eventually I stopped. I'd only been at the observatory for 2 years when I spotted him. No one expects something like this in this field. No one expects to be known as the guy who discovered alien life. I mean, at the time it was the dream, but fame for such a thing can prove to be challenging.
Do you sometimes still think about the God-man?
It is a hard thing to shake. From when he was first spotted, the God-man took around 8 years to arrive to Earth. Those 8 years were some of the best of my life. Every single day I was filled with excitement and joy and anticipation. It was like Christmas morning over and over. And as soon as he arrived, he evaporated nearly instantly. I spent the next 14 years looking in that region for something more. More information, another sighting. Who knows? Maybe one day. It still keeps me up at night. Many people found it scary, but I found the God-man gave me hope. That night, looking at him in the full moon, it felt like someone was looking back at us. For one small moment, we weren't alone. I wasn't afraid. I was soothed.